welcome back to Masterclass Extra Time. It's Haider and Rob back again, and we are just on the back of Manchester United versus Everton. 1-1 draw, Rob. Not the best result, but Aaron Wan-Bissaka was absolutely fantastic. Best performance of the season. We've spent a lot of time on the Masterclass criticising him and saying, how he doesn't go forward. He doesn't drive it as man. He's not much of a benefit in the build-up. But I thought he was fantastic, and I'm really happy to see him. Seems like he's listening a bit more. Seems like he's doing things a little bit different. But before we start, Rob, obviously we want all our listeners to like, subscribe, share. Please find us on Twitter. See our @handles as well, @Haider Rubbani and @_Rob @_B. Please give us a follow. We're doing lots of daily content every day. But Rob, let's talk about Wan-Bissaka. What were your thoughts on him? Because you're someone that obviously does criticize Wan-Bissaka quite a lot. And I think, you were pleasantly surprised with what you saw.
Am I? I don't know. I think I'm just calling out what I can see. I think with Aaron, that the expectations are high, obviously, for every player at Manchester United. There's no doubt about that. But I also think what we saw against Everton were the real positives of what Aaron could do in future. So it's almost a little bit of a sneak peek into what Wan-Bissaka could be at Manchester United as a right fullback. So I think against Everton, he drove the ball. Which is the first key component that you want the fullback to do. Yes, we know that he does all those slide tackles, and yes, he can do that defensive function. But, the fullbacks in the modern game are as important as any part of the attack. You need to get up there to support them, allow them to go and penetrate the box while you go wider. So I think that was a real big plus point for me, was to see that Aaron was doing those things naturally. It wasn't a forced thing. It wasn't that he was trying to kind of look over his shoulder and work out where he was. He was just doing it much more naturally. Being completely honest, we've not seen that this season. And these were issues that we talked about last year. So that was worrying in the last few games. I think missing the Champions League game against Villarreal might have given him the little breather that he needed. Out of the team, suspended, obviously, for a silly tackle for the red card in the previous match against Young Boys. And then we saw that he came out. He looked fresh. He looked ready. And I think him and Greenwood on that right-hand side really worked well together.
Yeah, agreed. We've got the Who Scored graphic up here, Rob, and Wan-Bissaka was the best performing defender out of all the four defenders that were playing, 7.1. What I did like about Wan-Bissaka, and I think he is a confidence player, Rob. You see him get past this man or, make an overlapping run very early on. Then he's like, right, I'm in the mode. And that can be a bit of a concern, but it's also a bit of a positive. It seemed like it did click for him the other day. But I do want to bring him up Dalot, because there are a lot of clamours and shouts to bring Dalot into the team. We saw him against Villarreal. Wasn't all his fault, by the way, because obviously the system wasn't protecting him either, or the defence. We know that the issues with that. If you haven't seen that video yet, guys, please go and watch it. We did do a short 40-minute review of Manchester United versus Villarreal. But what I think what a lot of fans are realising, actually, Rob, is that Wan-Bissaka is not as bad as people say he is. And he is actually an integral part to his team because of the fact that we do have weaknesses in that right-hand side. We didn't sign Trippier, who probably would have fitted the system quite well and would have benefited someone like Greenwood or Sancho playing on that right-hand side. But all in all, Rob, his delivery is not a problem for me. He got 4 assists last season, same as Shaw. It's actually what he does in the build-up, and it's driving at your man, and also knowing when to go forward and when to come back. Not vacating that space. But all in all, I was pretty impressed with Wan-Bissaka, and I was delighted to see him have a good result.
Well, Aaron is a £50 million fullback. Okay, so that's the expectation. That's where you start. Aaron Wan-Bissaka is not a bad footballer. That's not true in any sense of the word. We just know that Aaron has been deficient in certain areas. And last season, we talked about that in depth because it was hurting United. And I think this is the thing, is when an individual can't get the game together in that Rubik's Cube that I always talk about in your head, if you can't work that out, then it's going to hurt your performances. So you just mentioned Dalot there. When we talk about ability, there's no doubt for me that Aaron is the better player. Aaron can get forward. He can cover at the back. Dalot is also a progressive right-sided player, but has incredible deficiencies on the back foot. And we saw that obviously in the Champions League. It nearly kind of absolutely fried United's chances of getting anything out of the game. So I don't think Dalot starts in any reality when Aaron Wan-Bissaka is available. I think Aaron is the starting fullback. It's a shame that United didn't get Trippier, because I think that gives you a better option on that side, someone who's experienced and can do that role. I think the real positive for me with Aaron was playing more instinctually against Everton. So he was playing 1-2s. He wasn't doing what we've seen maybe in recent weeks, where he stops, when he gets the ball and he kind of stops the ball, traps it, and then has a kind of look around for 5 minutes. And you kind of think, just move the ball, move it quicker, please. So he moved the ball really well yesterday. And I think that was kind of reflective of United's overall play, is that for 60 minutes against Everton, there were some real promising signs of pass and move. And Aaron Wan-Bissaka was a big part of that.